No, it's late. And no, I'm not camming up tonight. You guys know what I look like. I basically look like that avatar that you see right there. And I know this is the first time that I'm going to be doing a preview show without showing you my face. But I think you guys will be okay till tomorrow. I had a long day. And I just want to do a little preview show, let you know what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. I want to flesh out some things, run some things by you. Same deal, even though you only see my avatar, let's take care of a little business. I am on the block with Jen Honey, YouTube's bad girl, Jen to you. I am on the block with Jen on TikTok. I am on the block with Jen on Instagram. And I am on the block with Jen at Gmail. If you would like to email me about some business or a collabo, you can hit me in on the block with Jen at Gmail. Or if you just want to send me a topic you'd like to see me dissect in on the block with Jen fashion, you may do so. If you want to support the show, that little line scrolling on the bottom is my Cash App. You can buy me a smoothie. So I'm also on the block with Jen on my Cash App. So basically, all over the internets, I am on the block with Jen. On the block with Jen on Instagram, TikTok, Gmail, and Cash App. Very easy to remember. So I know it's a little late, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging on a Monday. There are a lot of stories that are buzzing, right? Reason why I'm calling the show tonight White People Money is for two reasons. Well, one, I was in a film called White People Money. If you'd like to see that, I got a pretty good role. If you'd like to see that, it's on Stars. It's spinning on Stars and other streaming networks, and it's called White People Money. It's a comedy, and it's a family-friendly movie. It's starring Barton Fitzpatrick from The Shy and Drew Zedora from Housewives of Atlanta. Drew Zedora also played T-Boz in the TLC biopic. So, really funny movie. The reason why I'm using the title of the film I was in is because, yes, let's talk a little bit about white people money. Jeff Bezos has announced he's giving away his $124 billion. That shit is unprecedented. Never in the history of this country have we heard about a man being worth $124 billion giving it away. That is what he wants to do. He's already began. He gave Dolly Parton and all her choice of charities $100 million. So not only did he announce he's given away his fortune, but he already began, right? And I'm going to get into a little more detail tomorrow with exactly what Jeff said about his huge giveaway. Ironically, or coincidentally, the movie I was in, White People Money, his ex-wife, Bezos' ex-wife, Mackenzie, I believe her name is, she gives away $1 billion in the film that I'm in. So that's really funny that in the film I'm in, White People Money, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife gives away $1 billion, and now Jeff Bezos is actually giving away his $124 billion fortune. I was wondering how his girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez, feels about that, right? Because I'm sure the lure to be with that man was because he was such a, mega mogul billionaire. So, and I'm talking about Lauren Sanchez, the girlfriend who was pressed up against Leonardo DiCaprio at that party that we joked about that. So I'm curious to see how the dynamic of the relationship unfolds. Now, is he giving away every dime and throwing on some Jesus sandals and just traveling the world? I don't know. But the report is he is giving away $124 billion. So it's going to be interesting because, you have to divvy that up and then you have to pick the charities and what have you. I'm sure his inbox is flooded right now. I'm sure his girlfriend's inbox is flooded right now. I'm sure everybody's trying to get a piece of that money. Of course, $124 billion can go a long, long, long way. Um, you know, People say don't pocket watch, but I wouldn't just throw hundreds of $1 million at different people with different charities, right? And he's a smart guy. I'm sure he'll manage. But there's a million things that we can all think about and where that 124 billion would be handy. So let's see what happens. Let's see how it unfolds. I'm definitely going to talk tomorrow about what he said about the giveaway and how he's planning to give it away. So that's going to be very interesting. That's why I'm calling this stream White People Money, because, you know, white people money, when we think about it, when we just hear the term white people money, we think of wealth, right? White people money. I guess it's like saying black famous, right? It's like people that are famous in the black community and we know them, but no one outside of us knows. So I guess white people money is billions and billions and billions of dollars. Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow, what's up, World Kings? I'm talking about Jeff Bezos. I'm just fleshing out a couple of stories for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm really gonna go in on them. But if anybody wants to panel up tonight, they can. I'm just doing my avatar tonight because it's late. So I'm talking about white people money. Jeff Bezos specifically at first giving away his $124 billion he announced. And he already gave 100 million to Dolly Parton and her charities. So he's really serious about giving away this money. Also, I wanted to talk about an interesting way that Dave Chappelle's Saturday Night Live monologue is being looked at now. Now Dave Chappelle is on the chopping block with the ADL. I watched it. I don't know if you guys watched Dave Chappelle's monologue on Saturday Night Live, but it was genius per usual. Dave Chappelle is the best we have in comedy. He's just in a league of his own. Not to say that there aren't a lot of other great comedians, but we know Dave is the GOAT, and he's catching a lot of backlash from the ADL, which is the Anti Defamation League that Brother Ish schooled us on. Basically, an entire team of lawyers that assist the Jewish community in pretty much, running the pockets of people who have anything sideways to say about the Jewish community. It's actually a real thing. So I thought the monologue was genius. I thought it was fair, because he hinted towards, yes, the Jewish community runs Hollywood, and not so blatant wording, but he made fun of that. And then he also, in my opinion, dragged Kanye West. I think he threw a couple jabs at Kanye, and made fun of how Kanye used to always brag about, being a billionaire and being better than other people. And then they took, a billion, $1 billion from him overnight. And now Kanye's like barefoot and wearing his chain out again, because the joke was Kanye was like, I don't wear chains. I don't show my chains. Billionaires don't show their jewelry. So Dave Chappelle basically ran that joke back and used it against Kanye and said, I guess you're gonna show your chain now, right? Because you're running around barefoot in Hollywood because Adidas took the deal from you. So I thought Chappelle was fair. I thought Chappelle was fair all across the board. I think he addressed everything that was going on with Kanye and the Jewish community really, really well. In genius like fashion, like only Chappelle can. And it was absolutely hilarious. Like I laughed throughout. I thought it was fair. But I'm not Jewish. And I heard that you can't tell people what to be offended by, right? I wouldn't have been offended. I told you guys before, I have tough skin. If you guys want to talk about Puerto Ricans and Latins all day, I don't give a fuck. I don't have anything to do with that. It's not a person. I don't see it as a personal attack towards me. That's just how you view Latins and Puerto Ricans, and you're entitled to it, right? It's not going to change, you know, how I pay my bills every month, right? Now, I wish a lot more people were like me, but a lot of people are super, super sensitive or pretending to be, or they're being conditioned by social media to be sensitive. Whatever the case is, people just can't let jokes slide. And that's across the board. That's not just Jewish people. It is across the board. As you guys know, everyone is offended by every fucking thing. A warm breeze is now offensive. So I don't see how he defamed the Jewish community, Dave Chappelle. I thought it was funny. If you guys haven't seen it, you really gotta watch it. It is hilarious, but he's getting a lot of backlash now, and they're calling it anti-Semitism, and they're saying that he's normalizing anti-Semitism with the jokes. And here is a post that has gone viral of how they're describing what Dave did, which I thought was an exaggeration. But again, you can't tell people what to be offended by. Rudy Rochman says Dave Chappelle's SNL skit was a meticulous and calculated move to desensitize the population from anti Semitism, getting society to laugh at Jewish traumas, struggles, and normalizing historic tropes by manipulating the average person's pain and redirecting their reaction onto Jews. So they're taking it seriously, just like, what I mean, Chappelle got raked over the coals for his trans community jokes. I guess now they're on him again for the anti-Semitic jokes. I guess that's how they're describing it. And I'm like, okay. But again, we live in a society where you can't tell people what not to be offended by. You got to let people stomp and scream and yell and cover your timelines with what offends them, and then they get over it. It's almost at this point like, when you watch a child throw a tantrum and they hate you because you said no more cookies, and then they come down from it. They're back to watching their cartoons and stuff. And that's the cycle that we've seen over and over again with people getting offended. So I think we're all getting desensitized. I thought I was desensitized, but now we're living in a society, where the population is going to be desensitized, like it or not, because everything is offensive now. And once you make everything offensive, they lose their trigger, right? They lose their trigger. So people think that, people are saying derogatory, inflammatory things about them now. I can imagine in 20, 30 years how horrible the language is going to be between us in America. I mean, it's going to be absolutely horrible, but people are going to be so desensitized and just fatigued. They're going to be, offended, fatigued, if there's such a thing. People are just going to be fatigued of being offended. I think that's where we're headed. I don't think the Jewish people are in any way, shape, or form in danger of being this community where they're ever going to be oppressed. Not in this day and age. They just have a lot of power, they have a lot of money. I just don't think that jokes or angry rich black men, giving their opinion on some contracts, on some bad contracts that they signed, I don't think that's going to put the Jewish community in any danger. But again, you can't tell people what makes them feel unsafe or what makes them feel in danger. But I'm curious to see how this plays out, and I'll cover it a little deeper tomorrow. Pause. In further rich black men news, Nas' home got burglarized in Calabasas. Yes. Nasir Jones has a crib in Calabasas, California. He got burglarized. It's interesting because they said they caught these two men. They crashed into a glass door in his home, went in there, two big bags, filled the bags, and broke out. And Nas's people saw it on his Ring camera. Nas was at some sort of party at said time. And they burglarized, and we don't know what they took yet. I guess we'll know in a couple days. But I find that the Ring alarm system funny, right? Because everyone always has a video of the burglary, and I'm like, what's the point of an alarm system if they're just getting video of the burglary? Like, I thought the alarm system was supposed to stop the robbery. Apparently, I'm wrong, right? The Ring camera just records people that are robbing you and ransacking your home. But eventually, the cops showed up after the goods were gone. So I guess we'll find out soon what all they took. But it was two guys, and they filled two big bags. And I'm sure that robbing Nas is a jackpot, right? So we'll see what they took in a couple days, I'm sure. Oh, World King says he just dropped an album too, and it's some heat. I can imagine. I mean, it's Nas. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Nas got robbed way up in Calabasas, where people are sitting in ivory towers, probably feeling safe from the riffraff. But no, they got him. They caught him slipping. Speaking of rappers, Takeoff's funeral went off without a hitch. So we've heard. Apparently, they made a rule you can't take pictures in there or videos. They wanted people to respect the privacy, of the family and the funeral, which I think is hard to do because they held the funeral at the State Farm Arena, right? It wasn't a private funeral. They literally filled an arena with friends, family, and fans. So it's going to be hard to control phones in that place. And people were leaking pictures and videos, of course, because everybody wants material for their social media and they want the likes and they want the attention. So I guess people snuck their phones in, and were taking pictures and posting them. The people that put the funeral together were like, hey, don't take pictures and videos. We'll release some pictures and videos for you guys who couldn't make it and want to see it and want to honor Takeoff. But even before they released those professional pictures, the internets were abuzz with sneaky pictures that were taken of the funeral. Like I said, it was star-studded. Alicia Keys didn't perform though. She was scheduled to perform, but had a scheduling conflict. But I know Justin Bieber performed. Takeoff was up there, you know what I mean, crying, giving his I guess his sentiments, Quavo as well. I didn't know, you guys I'm sure knew. I didn't know that Quavo and Takeoff were actually related. I always thought it was Takeoff and Quavo that were related. But no, it was Quavo and Takeoff, which was interesting. I mean, sorry, Quavo and Takeoff. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Quavo and Takeoff. Sorry. I'm looking at my notes. Forgive me. So moving forward, I thought this was interesting. Elon Musk, and this is going to all go back to what I was saying about how mad people are about Kanye West getting his money took from him by Adidas. And I thought this was interesting. Elon Musk, as you guys know, he is wreaking havoc on Twitter. Okay, he's firing people, same as Amazon. Amazon is letting go of like 10,000 people or so. So all hell is breaking loose, which is interesting because we think about these billion-dollar companies as being intact and unbreakable and impenetrable, but it seems like things are crumbling all around. My suggestion to people is to have a backup business online. Like, online is the future, whether you like it or not. I don't care if you have a regular 9 to 5 or if you're some sort of entrepreneur. You better have some sort of online business, right? You never know if you're going to get shut down again by another pandemic. We didn't expect the last pandemic, and it happened. And everybody ran to the internet to start a job. I would say you keep an internet job on the burner. Just leave it simmering in case something happens. I'm sure all them people. Oh, they're all related. World Kings, how are they all related? I'm curious. I thought it was just Quavo and Takeoff. I'm curious. I'm curious. Um, yeah, so have some sort of online something going on, even if it's simmering, you know what I mean? Even if it's a YouTube channel, that is my advice. I'm sure all the 10,000 people now are going to be without a job. That's a lot of people, right? Hopefully they have some backup plan, but imagine if those 10,000 people had YouTube channels. As crazy as it sounds, they'd still have some sort of income coming in if they monetize or on Instagram or whatever. We spend so much time on these machines. We spend a lot of our lives on these machines. At this point, it's silly to spend all this time and not monetize. And I'm talking to everyone, like Joanna says, I can hear the sound of my voice. Everyone watching me, everybody that scrolls Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all these things can be monetized, and you spend a lot of time here. So instead of just scrolling and arguing with motherfuckers who don't mean shit and you don't know or care about when you log off, look into being monetized in case you're working a job and you get fired. So Elon Musk, as you know, he's wreaking havoc over there on Twitter. All right. He's the new sheriff in town, and he is off in everybody's head. So he was on Twitter speaking to a Twitter employee in public. Like, Elon Musk be tweeting now. Okay. And he was talking to one of his employees on Twitter, and he asked the employee a question, and the employee got very snippy with him on Twitter in front of the world. So Elon Musk fired him. Now here's the thing. As you guys know, I had an episode where we spoke about power, right? People not understanding power and people not respecting power. But, power has an interesting way of making you respect it, whether you like it or not, because that's why it's power. So Elon Musk owns Twitter, right? Whether you like Elon Musk or not, he had an employee act snippy with him and he got rid of his ass. Elon Musk fired the employee, right? He has the power to do so. Now, are people going to protest and boycott Twitter, this, that, and third? No, right? Well, Elon Musk is white and the employee was white. But even if they were red, blue, or green, the point is that he is his employer and this guy got out of pocket on Twitter with his boss. So that's how I look at the Kanye Adidas thing and the Kanye Gap thing. I think that it's a case with Kanye where you could take race out of it, to be quite honest. I think Kanye threw a tantrum with his bosses and got too spicy with them. And they were like, okay, well, we take this back, leave your uniform and ID at the door, and you could get the hell on. Right. So I don't think so much it was like this big, this evil religion that's after, Black people. So, which is a great segue because tomorrow I want to discuss a video I saw of KRS-One where he's talking about the worst thing that happened to hip hop was B-Boy Records and Sugar Hill Records. Okay. Those were both Black owned record labels, and KRS-One said that was the worst thing that happened to hip hop because it was older Black people basically feeding off of younger Black artists and giving them crumbs. This is what Chris said, KRS-One. He said it's the worst thing that happened to hip hop. So, I mentioned this before and you guys kind of scoffed at me, but I was saying it doesn't matter what race you are, when you're in power, right? You're going to wield that power. We've been joking about Diddy making bad boy artists disappear or go broke or be suicidal and things like that. So when we look at the Jewish people, like, oh, they run everything and they abuse their power. Well, KRS-One himself said Sylvia Robinson and B-Boy Records, they abused their power. They used these young Black artists, took their talents. As a matter of fact, he said he's still getting robbed for Criminal Minded. To this day, he said, okay? He said he's still getting robbed by Criminal Minded. And guess what? He's not getting robbed by the Jewish. So it's what I said before, guys. It's what I said before. You never know what you're going to do with power until you're powerful. So, I just think that it's not race exclusive. I don't think it's gender exclusive because Sugar Hill Records was owned by Sylvia Robinson, who is a woman. right? So you have to, we have to look at that. We have to look at that as well. What would you do in power? If someone gave you $1 billion, are you going to be nice? Are you going to be, are you going to be like Gandhi? Are you going to go out in the street? Are you going to be Mother Teresa? Or are you going to go out and get yourself a Maybach and a condo, in New York City, a penthouse suite with a balcony overlooking, Central Park? Are you going to spend $50 million on your penthouse apartment? Like, what would you do, right? It's different when you actually have the power. So, and I really don't think that's race specific because we see it happening. KRS One said that hip hop is a $10 billion a year industry, and I believe him. I believe him. But he claims that these black label owners were the worst things that happened to hip hop. And I'll go into I'll have the video for you guys tomorrow so you can see exactly what he said because I thought it was very interesting. And it's what I had mentioned before. People in power use their power. So, do you think that Elon Musk abused his power by firing the employee who got snippy with him on Twitter? We're getting to the point where we're so offended and so sensitive, we don't even realize that we could never, never talk out the side of our necks to any boss. We're either at jobs now. I used to be corporate many moons ago. The last thing on my mind was thinking going into my boss's office and demanding a raise or demanding that he treats me better than he treats everybody else. And I think that's what we're seeing with Kanye. I think with Kyrie, it's different. Kyrie just wants to talk about whatever and not be pulled over. But we're living in a different environment where the pendulum is swung all the way to the other side, and now everybody's sensitive. Everybody's sensitive. Before it was this marginalized group, and this group were the only ones allowed to be offended by stuff, and that spilled over into everything else, right? So it's kind of like it's coming back to bite you on the ass because now everybody is sensitive and not everybody is at risk of losing their job depending on what they say. Now it's not exclusive to one group. Not anybody can get it. And that's the world that we're living in. So horribly that now even comedians, you know what I mean, are feeling it. You can't even tell a joke anymore. So I found that quite interesting. So, I don't think anything will happen to Chappelle. Chappelle is, in my opinion, beyond cancellation. Even before he did the monologue, there were some people that worked for SNL. They were protesting and saying, "Oh, we're not going to be there that night." And he shouldn't be doing the monologue because he's transphobic, yada yada, whoop de whoop, la la la. But I guess Lorne Michaels was like, "Fuck all that. Let's get this money in here." And plus, SNL isn't as popular as it used to be. So they were like, fuck that. We're gonna have us some Chappelle and you guys would be all right. Also tomorrow, I'll keep you guys on here a few minutes longer because I did just want to show my face, you guys. I didn't want to leave you hanging on Monday, even though I know Mondays are slow. I don't know if World Kings is still here, but please, honey, correct me. Let me know how all the Migos are related. I just thought it was Quavo and Takeoff. I didn't know Offset was also related to them. I was on Quavo's page, and very touching letter he wrote about Takeoff's death and beautiful pictures he posted about when they were both little. I didn't know that Quavo was Takeoff's uncle, but you know how we do in our families, okay? You had the auntie and the niece be damn near the same age. What's up, Veganista? The auntie and the niece be damn near the same age. So apparently, Quavo is Takeoff's uncle. I didn't know that. He wrote a he wrote a really really heartfelt message on his social media talking about who Takeoff was as a person. That was very touching. Just fucking tragic, man. Um yeah, guys. So tomorrow I'm gonna get deeper into these subjects. I wanted to flesh out just a little bit here and there there is something else I wanted to bring up to you guys. Um, okay, yeah, I also want to discuss the backlash that Black Panther is getting. Of course, we're seeing the same backlash that we saw with the Woman King. I'm literally getting into debates with people online who are saying, Marvel has an agenda and they want to push black single mothers. Literally, these are the arguments online. They said that oh, good. Football is over, Veganista. We got you back. For tonight, right? So they're saying that the online streets are saying that Marvel is pushing the agenda of single black mothers, and they killed off T'Challa so Nakia can be a single black mother. They're talking about they purposely made the women of Wakanda masculine, and they're constantly pushing this agenda for black women not to need black men. Again, like I said, the accusations, the sensitivity, and people being offended is going to get more and more and more ridiculous. So buckle up, mi gente, buckle up. It's going to get more and more ridiculous. You will not be able to enjoy anything, whether it's a film, a song, a comedian. It does not matter. People will not let you enjoy these things. They will find an agenda, they will dissect it. So, I saw Wakanda Forever. I thought it was great. I thought the Mexican villain was great. It was very interesting. It was very interesting to see these two powerful worlds collide. One underwater and one on land. It was beautifully done. The colors were beautiful. I liked the movie. I sat back. I enjoyed it. A bit too long for my taste, 2 hours and 40 minutes. But I enjoyed it nonetheless. I loved the storyline, had my popcorn, came home. And then, not more than 24 hours later, I'm looking on Facebook and on Instagram, and everybody's talking about the agendas that Marvel had, which is quite bizarre because, like I said, these people, it's like both people have agendas. The people that are complaining about the film, I feel, have an agenda. And then they're claiming that Marvel has an agenda. But if Marvel has an agenda, then so do the people complaining about it, because the people complaining about it really want you to believe that these agendas exist, and they want black women to be single and raising children single. This woman was telling me she's a single black mother, and she doesn't want she wants a man, and she doesn't like how these films are pushing this single black strong independent trope. I didn't see that with Wakanda. She went on to tell me, femininity is stronger than masculinity. And why couldn't the Wakanda women be feminine? And I was like, wait a minute, bird. Wait a minute, bird. Oh, why do you think that strength is synonymous with masculinity? You can be a strong woman, you can be a strong man. Right? Strength isn't gender specific, but it just goes to show the ignorance on these machines where the word strong is now synonymous with masculinity. The women in Wakanda, they're warriors. It's no different than, what I mean, when we watch Sparta, right? The movie 300. The women, the Spartan women were stronger, what I mean, than the average woman. Also Hollywood, as far as agendas, Hollywood, it's a business, a very lucrative business, and they follow trends, right? They know feminism is at an all-time high, right? So I think that's the trend. So if there's any agenda that they're pushing, it's like, okay, what's popping now? Okay, gay people, well, let's put gay people in everything. Okay, what's popping now? Trans people, well, let's put trans people in everything. Well, what's popping now? Feminism, well, let's have these strong female leads and everything that we do. And they do that with white actresses as well. We seen, the last Terminator, it was 3 female leads. Okay, we see that with Red Sparrow. We see that with the white comic book characters, with Wonder Woman and what's the other chick's name? The Black Widow, right? It's all about girl power now with these films. There you can go online and you can see articles and videos addressing how feminism is being pushed in Hollywood because feminism is also being pushed in our communities though. Like women want to, you know what I mean? It's like I am woman, hear me roar. They're wearing the pink pussy hats and they're still yelling about, put us in, so that's always been a thing. I don't think it's targeted to one specific race. Hollywood is just like, look, these women want to, make a big stink about being women. Let's put them in everything, right? We saw that with Oceans. What was that movie? Oceans. Remember Ocean 11 was all guys. Now we see Oceans 8. It was all women. It was all women, and that is what you're gonna see because Hollywood is following trends. But apparently, there are a lot of people on Facebook who think Marvel is attacking specifically the Black community and attacking the nucleus, the family. And people are saying all sorts of shit online, and I'm like, so we can't enjoy a movie anymore. All right, got it. And not to say that there aren't agendas. I just don't think there are this many. What do you guys think? I just don't think there are this many. I think it's getting a little silly. Veganista says, I haven't seen it, but I heard there's some Mexican storyline in it. So I think I will go out to actually see it in the theater, which I rarely do, but I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. You'll enjoy the second one too, Veganista. Like Wakanda Forever. It's great. It's well done. It's like damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you show Black people being strong, there's an agenda. If you show Black people being weak, there's an agenda. I don't know the balance that's needed. Maybe there'll be some sort of committee or panel that'll dictate to Hollywood what the perfect Black specimen is. But then there'll be arguments about we're not a monolith, right? So, it's all over the place. Um, similarly, John Leguizamo, I spoke about him before. He wrote an open letter to Hollywood about Latin representation. Listen, I find it annoying when millionaires, and John Leguizamo is a millionaire. He's been in the business maybe 20 years, right? Latino, Latinx. He identifies as Latinx. We know and love John Leguizamo, right? We've seen him in tons of shit. But I just have an issue with a millionaire who's been in the business 20 years and has an amazing network of people in his contacts. I'm sure he has every Latin millionaire actor in his contacts, along with Black, along with white. I just hate the constant belly aching of what Hollywood's supposed to be doing. What Hollywood should do is, and I keep telling you guys, it's very easy to vote, right? The same way you run to the polls to vote for a politician, that's not really going to change the quality of your life, but you do it anyway because you've been conditioned to do so. You've been conditioned to think it makes a difference. Great, whatever, go vote. Similarly, you can vote like that in films. If you feel like the films are too white all the time, don't go see them. Stop watching them. If you think these sitcoms on TV are too white, don't watch them. Don't tune into them. Whether it's a cop show or I don't know, a love story, a comedy like Friend, don't watch them. Don't. That's how you vote. You don't vote by belly aching. You just don't vote by belly aching. You vote with your dollars, right? So when I hear John Leguizamo wrote an open letter, it makes me want to write an open letter back. I swear to you, it makes me want to write an open letter back. And I've said this in his comments before on Instagram. Like, dude, you have access, you have network, you have budget where you can get 5 to 10 Latinos together. And I'm talking about fucking high power Latinos in the fucking business. 5 to 10, where you guys can sit down in Ava Longoria and all these people who are complaining about representation, America Ferrara and all these people. There's tons of them. There's tons of them. You can even branch off, to music. Ricky Martin has millions of dollars. Mark Anthony has millions of dollars. Jennifer Lopez, don't even include her. That's a white woman. So she doesn't get involved in shit. But there are so many other Latinx, however you want to say it, who just have money, 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 money over money, who have clout, who have the network, who have the platform to get together in a room, okay? Rent you a little $50 an hour room, sit there with the most high-powered Latins that you know, and discuss doing a Latin Hollywood or discuss doing a film or putting films out. You could put a film out every year if you wanted to. I'm sure some of them are writers. I'm sure some of them can direct. Okay. I'm sure some of them could get crew. There are people that would work for free. If John Leguizamo and Ava Longoria, Mark Anthony, and Ricky Martin, they all got together and say, hey, we're shooting this film. If they want to be cheap about it and say we can't pay cast and crew, will you guys come to? People are gonna do it for the exposure and to be attached to those names. So there's just no excuse whatsoever. So the open letter to me is just more belly aching. It's just more belly aching. It's continuing to put the power in this quote unquote Hollywood that everybody hates. Everybody hates it. Everybody hates this Hollywood thing. But they're constantly, it's just like Kanye with the contracts. If these contracts are so damn horrible, stop signing them. Just stop. Stop signing them. Right? And I want to get into that tomorrow, even with KRS-One talking about Sylvia Robinson and Sugar Hill Records and B-Boy Records. Like, why is it that, Latin and Black people are so emotional about business? Why are they so emotional about business? It is a business. Carl Brown, one of the founders of FUBU, told me a long time ago, I don't care how talented you are, be a part of the deal. Right? And it seems like a lot of talent, they just want to show up and, oh, I could sing, I could dance, I could rap, I can act, point me to the stage, I'll do it. And you forget there's a whole business behind putting you on that stage. There's a whole business behind putting you in that film. There's a whole business behind shooting that music video. So be part of the deal or sign the paper, take your advance, and shut the fuck up. Instead of fucking up your money later on because now you don't like the contract that you signed. It is unfair. It's going to be unfair. But that's why I explain it as simply as if you have children, your children cannot walk into the kitchen and dictate how you're going to run your home. That's how power works. If you don't understand how power works in business, let's take it down to brass tacks. Make it as simple as your home, your kids. That is the equivalent of Kanye throwing a tantrum. That is the equivalent of Kyrie wanting to say what he wants to say. That is the equivalent of John Leguizamo writing open letters to Hollywood. Those three people I mentioned have more than enough money to branch off and do their own thing without complaining. It's so simple to say, I don't feel appreciated here anymore. I'm taking my billions and I'm out. Bye. But people are going to be forced, a la fuerza. People are going to be forced to do their own thing, whether they like it or not, because I'm telling you, we are headed to the point where you're not going to be able to say shit about anybody. And that includes all of us. I know people feel exempt, like they're the community or we're the demographic, and nobody can talk about us, but we could talk about everybody. No, everybody's getting got. Everybody's getting sued. Miss Jones is getting sued by that bishop, the new bishop. I call the new Bishop Don Juan, the one that's always wearing Gucci and Louis Vuitton. He got robbed recently. I forgot his damn name. That bishop. He looks like a rapper. The hell is his name? You guys know who I'm talking about? He's from Brooklyn. Clown dude, just a clown. Let me see if I could pull him up real quick. Bishop from Brooklyn. He runs around like Mayweather. Okay, here we go. Bishop Lamore. That's his name. Bishop Lamore. He's suing Miss Jones for $50 million. And they're talking about it looks like a good case. It looks like he has a good case because Miss Jones took it upon herself to talk about this guy as a drug dealer, and that's how he makes his money. So now she has a defamation slander lawsuit on her lap. Right? And Miss Jones is black. So this is not exclusive to, oh, white people can't use the N-word. It's not exclusive like that anymore. You say something about Asians, they can sue. You say something about Latins, they can sue. You say something about the Jewish, they can sue. Right? So now it's a kumbaya of lawsuits and defamation and slander, and everybody's offended now. You get offended, I get offended, we get offended, everybody's offended. And that's what we're hitting for. And no one's going to be exempt. That's why I said the pendulum swung all the way to the other side. And now everybody wants to be the oppressor, and everybody wants to be the one that can say shit about people without reproach. But thanks to the internet and all of you who participated so vehemently about how offended you were about everything, now nobody's safe. Hence, I say, start you an online business. And then you even got to be careful there. But that's where we are. That is what we're hitting for. So if you're going to open your mouth and have a big mouth, you better have a backup plan, or you better have some money saved, or you better have different streams of income, because that is what we're hitting for. But I think it's, we're going to 2023, and we are beyond the point of begging people to treat us fairly and begging people to, give us representation. You have to represent. I want, we're beyond that. So I'm sorry, John Leguizamo's open letter was absolutely ridiculous. When it's as easy as, if you feel you're being treated unfairly, remove yourself. Stop going to see Terminator. But you're going to see Terminator. You cannot be a participant and a victim at the same time. You can't. So John Leguizamo is in a business where he's played an Italian role, for instance. He's not Italian. John Leguizamo's not Italian. He claims he's Puerto Rican, but his own father said, no, the fuck you not, you Colombian. But that's a whole different show. Either ways, he identifies as Latinx, but he played an Italian guy. So are you a participant or a victim, right? He's talking about 30% of the population, and we're Latins and we should be represented more. That means that there should be 3 Latin films or 3 Latin shows. And hey, I get it. It's unfair. It is unfair. But when you look at it when you look at a power structure, that is how power works. Now, I don't know about you guys, but these film students, people that don't know shit about films, they're shooting films now with their cell phones. Literally, they're shooting films with their cell phones and putting them on YouTube. Issa Rae, Insecure. She used to have, before HBO changed the name to Insecure, it was called Awkward Black Girl, and it was on YouTube, and it was a hit. She didn't have $1 million team in her back pocket. She took it upon herself to write a show, shoot the show, and put it on YouTube. So you're going to tell me someone like John Leguizamo, who's been in the business 2 decades and has everybody in his back pocket, can't shoot 1 film per year with all Latin cast? Is that what we talking about? Okay. And going back to KRS-One, he was talking about the dynamic between Kanye and Jay-Z. Like, why didn't, Jay-Z pull Kanye aside? And again, I spoke about that before. Kanye is not a child, right? Jay-Z told us a long time ago he's a businessman. Dame Dash is still Dame Dash been talking about Jay-Z how long, right? So are these people we keep hearing, when you make it, you have to turn around and pull people up. We keep hearing that. We keep hearing that. But then in the same vein, people are saying we're not a monolith. So which is it? Which is it? And also, it begs the question, are we behind because we're not a monolith? Are we further behind than the other races and ethnicities because we're not a monolith? When you look at the Jewish community, guess what? They're a monolith. That's why they get shit done. We just get angry and offended. And then we can't even agree on what we're angry about or offended by. But the Jewish people, they're all on code with what's offensive. They're all on code. But we can't even agree. Some of us like Candace Owens, some of us hate Candace Owens. Some of us support Black Lives Matter, some of us don't. Some of us agree with John Leguizamo, some of us don't. But at the end of the day, John Leguizamo is not collecting 10, 15, 20 Latins that could write their ass off, that could act their ass off, that could produce their ass off and creating his own content. So he can write all the open letters he likes. He could complain on Instagram he likes. Where is the material? Where is the material? Where are the scripts you've written, John Leguizamo? I've written scripts. I'm shopping shows. I support independent filmmakers, both Black and Latin. Where are the scripts? Where are the films that you're producing? Where are the films that you've written? So I can't, sorry, I cannot take these belly aching, filthy rich celebrities seriously. I can't take them seriously. And as far as KRS-One mentioning Jay-Z and how the older Black elites are feeding off the younger talent, you got 3 billionaires under Jay-Z. You got Beyonce, you got Rihanna, you got Kanye. But what about, Beans to tell you if he wasn't in his feelings? Or what about Freeway? Like, can we just admit that some motherfuckers just don't do good business? Can we just admit that? Can we just admit that some people don't do good business and everybody can't come? I mean, when Rihanna's talking about just called Jay closed another deal, obviously Rihanna does good business. She's a billionaire now. Beyonce does good business. And apparently Kanye did good business until he threw his tantrum. So is Jay-Z responsible for Kanye? When KRS-One talks about, well, Jay-Z should have, and then Kanye saying he was Jay-Z's best earner. Kanye said he was Jay-Z's best earner. Jay would call for a beat. He was like, I got you. I don't know. I think Rihanna is that now. So, all this belly aching, this constant belly aching, and nobody's making no moves. Nobody's making no moves. That's why I can't take them seriously. An open letter, Sounds like begging to me. You know how ridiculous you gotta be to have 8, 9 figures in your bank account and still have your hand out for fairness? Do you know how ridiculous you have to be to have 8, 9 figures in your account and still have your hand out for fairness? You wanna be treated fair, and then you wonder why the power structure of this business is the way it is? You wonder why? So you don't think that the powers that be are looking at us like, "Damn, even when these motherfuckers are rich, they complaining. Even when they're rich, they're complaining." Thank you so much for this super chat, Big Elvis the Chef Rosenberg. I haven't seen you in a while, sir. How's it going over there at the Star Report? You know, so even rich, even I mean Kanye, a billionaire, unheard of, the first. And what does he do? I don't like my contracts. I don't like my contract. You know, and then everybody else follows, you know, all the minions and the commoners. Yeah, let's I stand with Kyrie. I stand with Kanye. Do they stand with y'all or they just giving their opinions online and hoping you back them up so it looks good? So there's a lot of food for thought. A lot of food for thought. And again, I'm really gonna get into it tomorrow. I have some debaters coming up tomorrow on all the topics. Tap Records said Rihanna learned how to diversify. Absolutely, and did it well. Um, Jupiter Jupiter Gone Wild says, I greatly admire the way Asian people work and move in silence. You don't have to be so loud with your wealth. Some things are better kept secret. I absolutely agree with that. That's another thing um, that happens a lot in our communities. It's funny because the other day I was looking at Shaquille O'Neal's partner. Um, Let me see if I could pull him up. 'Cause I be studying these people, how they do this shit now. It's very interesting. Let's see if I can find this guy. You guys probably know the name. I'm pull him up right now. Here we go. Jamie Salter, right? He's the CEO of Authentic Brands Group. And they have everybody under their belt, like the biggest names are under Authentic Brands Group. Shaquille O'Neal is one of them. And I'm looking at this man. He is now worth $1 billion. I'm looking at this man, and he's sitting, some jeans on, some dirty Reeboks, just some regular Reebok sneakers, and he's worth $1 billion. That's another thing about we should be quiet with our money, right? When we get money, we have to let the whole world know. And you notice, um, Kanye did that consistently. Consistently, he was talking down to people, and you ain't got the answers, Sway. And it ain't Ralph's though, meaning Ralph Lauren, right? It ain't Ralph's though. Um, I'm a big supporter of Fubu. All right. I mean, huge since the beginning, since they were wearing hats. Like, those are my dudes, big supporter. Did you ever hear Kanye say anything like, "It ain't FUBU though," right? So Kanye, in my opinion, was a lover of white people money, like I have on my screen, right? He was a lover of white people money in the white way, and he forgot that he's not one of them, right? So, should we be more quiet with our money? I say yes. I mean, here I am looking at a billionaire with some dirty Reeboks on. But you give a rapper an advance and he has to go out and buy a couple chains to show you he got money. So are we our problem? Are we our problem? You give John Leguizamo fame and fortune, 2 decades in the game. I guarantee he's in the 8 figures. I guarantee he is. And what does he wanna do? What's up, Presidente Politifu? And what does he wanna do? He wants to write an open letter to Hollywood. That's what he wants to do with his notoriety, his fame, and his fortune. Right? Glow Up Just 2 says, I went to school with a trust fund baby and she drove a regular car and wore simple clothes while all the black people flex with BMWs, etc. Yeah. I mean, you see that with Rihanna. Rihanna's literally worth billions now. And she walks around in some like big old clothes, when she's not glammed up, when she's just walking around. You would never look at Rihanna and say that's a billionaire right there. I love this point. Jupiter Gone Wild says majority of these millionaires and billionaires like Kanye West have a poverty mindset. They're spiritually bankrupt. Tap Record says our community has to have the illusion of wealth from brand name logos on your clothes and other flashy items. Yeah, there's a lot of emphasis. And the problem with the emphasis that our community specifically puts on material things is that the CEOs and owners of those material things are white, French, and Italian, right? It's one thing if you're gonna run around in FUBU clothes and brag about that, but it's not FUBU, is it? It's white, French, and Italian designers. And that's the problem, that the way our communities, when there is a come up, the way they show they came up is by jumping into buying material items from white, French, and Italian designers. And the money goes quick. The money goes super quick. Wayne Taylor says, how free and wealthy are you when you really aren't able to speak and move as freely as you want to? Well, you're not free at all. And that's why you should free yourself. And here's the thing, right? The majority of this country is white. Everything is white owned. Anything of power is white owned, I should say. I'm not talking about the mom and pop, cuchi frito, rice and beans joints, or the the soul food joints. Anything of power is white owned, right? So you have to play the game. You got to play the chess. I get it. You got to play the chess. But once you get to 8, 9 figures, you can go ahead and free yourself. What Kanye wanted to do was stay within that power structure, which was Jewish and white, and throw his weight around like they do, which is absurd. Like I said earlier, Elon Musk just fired a dude because he was talking, he got snippy with him on Twitter. And that just happened. Like Elon Musk literally just fired the guy who he asked the question to on Twitter. The dude got snippy on Twitter, and Elon Musk said, "You're fired. You're out of here." So you're free up until a point if someone signs your checks. And honestly, I think what happened to Kanye should be a lesson to everybody. No, you're not free just because you're wealthy. You're free because you're an owner. You own shit. People think they're free with money, and you're actually free owning something. Because I'm sure Kyrie felt, I'm free to say whatever I want. I'm a grown ass man. Let me get on Twitter and tell people how I feel. This is going to be great. And again, once we stop talking about these cats, they're sitting in their ivory towers. Kanye's still worth 400 million, according to Forbes. Kyrie got his fortune and his family. So we can get mad all we want, but we ain't got shit to do with it. Unless any of us here is going to play in the NBA, what the fuck do we care how the NBA is treating him? We ain't going to stop watching basketball. Raise your hand in the chat if you're going to stop watching basketball. Raise your hand in the chat if you're going to stop watching football. I'm going to get crickets. If Kyrie and Kanye disappeared off the face of the earth tomorrow, we're still listening to rap and we're still watching basketball. You see how life is? Most of the people that Kanye's talking to about how horrible these million and billion-dollar contracts are never going to deal with Jewish people on that level. Like, raise your hand if you think you're going to be in a billion-dollar contract with a Jewish company or a Gap or an Adidas. So when people say, oh, no, he's doing that so the people that come behind him can X, Y, and Z. Well, the people that come behind him, again, are going to be in contracts with people that own shit. And when you own shit, you get to say who stays, who goes, and how they behave while they're under your care. Like I said, your children cannot walk into the kitchen and tell you how you're going to run your house. You will look at them like they'd have bumped their head. You'd probably check them for a fever. Picture your kid coming in the kitchen. I don't like the temperature that you got this thermostat on, and I don't want to eat no more grilled cheese. You need to make me turkey sandwiches from now on. I have a right because I'm in a partnership with you where I am the child and you are the parent, and therefore I have a say in this house. Some of you are twisting your face up right now, just the idea of your child doing that. Just the idea, the mere idea that your child just walked in the kitchen. You need to stop buying this type of cheese. I don't even like grilled cheese. Make me some turkey next time. And get me to school at 9 o'clock. I don't like showing up at 8:30. And I'm going to need some more expensive sneakers. Your face would twist up. Parent company is a thing. So Kanye might have had a sneaker company, but guess who the parent company was? Adidas. And ain't nobody hurting Adidas. Adidas is a staple in pop culture. Ain't nobody gonna stop buying Adidas. And if you do, you on your own. It's just like Monique asking you to boycott Netflix. Maybe 2 or 3 people did it. So mañana, I'm really gonna get into exactly what KRS-One said about the black labels that, according to him, was the worst thing to happen to hip hop and black people. He didn't say Jewish. He said black record label owners was the worst thing that happened to hip hop and black people. And we're going to get into the whole Kanye, Jay-Z, Dame Dash. So if you guys want to come up and debate tomorrow, you are free to do so. And you'll see my face mañana. But it's late and I am literally cam down, lights dim. So I was like, y'all don't need to see my face tonight for this. I'll have more information about the 3 football players at the University of Virginia who were tragically killed, ambushed on a charter bus coming back from a road trip. That was absolutely horrific. These are babies. I mean, they're in their early 20s, just babies, tragically murdered on a charter bus coming back from a field trip. The shooter was involved in a hazing suit that didn't go anywhere for lack of witnesses. So I'm wondering if he was coming back for some sort of revenge after the hazing, but don't quote me on that because I don't have all the details. I just know he shot a bunch of kids on the bus. He was only 22 himself. He is 22 himself. He was arrested. There was a manhunt. He was arrested. He killed some babies, early 20s. Anything 20 something is a baby to me, but so tragically those three football players are gone. Two other people were shot. One is in critical, one is in stable. I'll get into that tomorrow. Just horrible. Absolutely horrible. You can't even send your kids to school. Sheesh. But we'll get into all of this tomorrow. Let me know what you want to talk about tomorrow. Let me know if you DM Jeff Bezos for any part of that 124 billion he's given away. Thank you so much for the support. Don't forget you can hit me with a super chat in the chat, or you can cash at me at On the Block with Jen and treat me to a smoothie. No Saint, you are late, sir. White people money. I was talking about Jeff Bezos giving away his $124 billion. He already gave 100 million away to Dolly Parton charities, and he's looking for other places to give his money away. So I called it white people money because I'm in a film called White People Money that's spinning on stars now. If you're curious to see it, it's called White People Money, and it's funny because in the film, Bezos' ex-wife gives away $1 billion in the movie I'm in. It's a comedy. It's a feel-good movie, family friendly. So, you know, you didn't get the notification. This was very impromptu, to be honest. But make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you can be notified. I can't tell you how many times people say they didn't get the notification. I don't know why YouTube's not letting me be great, but sometimes it does that. You guys know I always play a little music at the beginning to give you time to get in here. Yeah, so I don't know why you didn't get the notification, no saying. But we're gonna get into more of this tomorrow. I was just fleshing this out, giving you a little preview of what's coming tomorrow. Tomorrow the debate should be hot. The debate should be hot because I already have some people coming to debate me on the whole, what KRS-One said about the Black label owners and Kanye West and Jay-Z's relationship and how Jay-Z should be doing more for Kanye, et cetera, et cetera. And how Freeway and Beans or whatever were mad at Jay-Z. So we'll get into that mañana. I know, no saint. I know. I have another one for you guys. For you, Glenn Lawrence, and HUD. It's gonna be good. You guys are gonna be my all-white panel. It's gonna be interesting. We probably could do that on Wednesday. Maybe. If you guys are available, we'll do it on Wednesday. Oh, Jupiter Gone Wild. I love this. I love this. And this is a great way to end this stream for tonight. My papa always taught me you have to play the game with the uniform that you are issued. I absolutely love that. I love that. That is true. I like your papa because that is exactly what I would tell my kid. And that's great. Jupiter Gone Wild, then this is the channel for you. Please hit subscribe. If you say I love hearing other people have a healthy debate with each other, no insults and punches. We do that here on the Block with Jen a lot. Like we get in verbal fisticuffs. We may yell at the top of our lungs. But we don't personally attack each other. And if somebody gets too passionate and they slip, we definitely call them on it. I don't let anybody get dragged up here. I've dragged all the people and got rid of them that had to be dragged and got rid of. And now I have an amazing panel of people from all walks of life. And we all get along. So thank you for that. And thank you and your papa for that last comment. I love that. All right, guys. So I'm going to bid you adieu. Thank you so much for showing up, even though I wasn't showing my face. But you guys know I look like the avatar. So you know I ain't faking. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Please be prepared to come up. You know, I love when you guys come up and start talking crap to me. You know, I don't mind a good, healthy debate. Like Jupiter Gone Wild said, I don't mind the verbal fisticuffs. I don't mind the rebuttals. I don't mind the contradictions. Come on up and tell me how I'm wrong. Tomorrow, you are free to do so. Thank you so much, Elvis, for the super chat. Don't forget, you guys, if you want to support the show, I am reiterating. Hit me with a super chat. If you're catching the replay, then please hit me on the Cash App because, yes, mama got to keep the lights on in this church. Also, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, at Gmail if you want to Gmail me. I'm on the block with Jen everywhere. On the block with Jen on TikTok. If you want to see my reels, on the block with Jen on Instagram. If you want to get to know me better and see what I do day in and day out. And on the block with Jen at Gmail. All right, guys. Good night. And thank you for coming by. Love y'all, block babes. And I am out. Mwah.